10864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
Is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
Deep to right field at the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Welcome inside the Casanova Center. He's Scott Phillips, not the big booming voice that you heard in the opening billboard, but instead this voice that you're about to hear when he puts his headset on and says, "Hello, world."
Yeah, what's going on, world?
Scott Phillips, our director and producer today. Zach's back in the OSN studios, and I got to tell you, today's a great day because we're getting ready for the Pac-12 baseball tournament. Oregon, we know that the Ducks will be playing the Wildcats of Arizona again. How about that? Kind of an oddity, right? It is a little bit of a weird deal that it just worked out. Oregon sweeps Arizona at the end of the regular season, and now the Ducks will get them again in the 4-versus-5 game in the Pac-12 tournament. We'll talk about how the Ducks got there. We also have some news and updates from Oregon women's golf as the Ducks are continuing in Scottsdale. If they're in the top 8 today after the stroke play portion concludes, match play begins. Let's go, Ducks. Some updates from Scottsdale and Oregon women's golf. Derek Radley's team is currently on the course if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. We also, talking about baseball, Mark Wazikowski, Jay Stoffel, and Tanner Smith from their Saturday victory, that entire Pac-12 tournament bracket. And Oregon softball. Ducks got to the winner's bracket. That was the mission. Played some close games with Arkansas, and we'll break all that down for you coming up. Then Melissa Lombardi, head coach of the Ducks, is going to join us tomorrow on the show. We'll also hear from her a little bit after the fact from Fayetteville yesterday. So a lot on the horizon. If we have some time today, we'll get back and revisit some of our Hall of Fame induction interviews. That's all on the horizon today. Oregon baseball. 4-3 win for the Ducks on Friday after the 10-4 win on Thursday, and Isaac Aon was outstanding for the Ducks. A complete game for Isaac Aon, the first 9-inning complete game of his career. He had a complete game in 7 innings against UC Santa Barbara earlier this season. 10 Ks, and he struck out the last 5 that he faced. I'm not kidding about that. He struck out the second out of the 8th, the third out of the 8th, and the first, second, and third outs of the 9th. Career-high 10 strikeouts for Isaac Aon. More on that in a second. On Saturday, it was a 5-4 win for the Ducks. Tanner Smith, 2 RBI double was maybe the difference in the game. Ducks were able to score just enough runs, and Jay Stoffel was amazing. I'm telling you, he was amazing. A career-high 7 innings, career-high in pitches as well, and he matched his career-high in strikeouts. Jay Stoffel, Isaac Aon, the starting pitching, maybe the Ducks are peaking at the right time. All year long, we've talked about how the bullpen has had to really carry the Ducks. Oh, man. The starters carried the Ducks in the last weekend of the regular season. Isaac Aon and Jay Stoffel both outstanding. Career highs in innings pitched heading in to the postseason tournament. We're going to hear from Mark Wazikowski, Jay Stoffel, and Tanner Smith, but I do want to tell you a little bit more about that Pac-12 tournament. So here's where things sit for the Pac-12. Congratulations to the Stanford Cardinal. They won the Pac-12 conference with a 21-9 record. That's a Stanford team that Oregon beat in a series in Palo Alto earlier this year. And the Ducks may very well get another shot at them on Thursday in the Pac-12 tournament. More on that coming up. Oregon State finished second in the conference at 20-10. UCLA 19-11. Then Oregon fourth at 18-12. Arizona 16-14 finished fifth. And right now, I think those 5 teams that I just mentioned are probably the Pac-12's NCAA tournament teams. unless Washington, Cal, or Arizona State can do something special in Scottsdale in the Pac-12 baseball tournament that begins on Wednesday. It's an 8:45 pregame show for us on Wednesday when the Ducks will face the Wildcats. Breakfast with the Ducks. Yeah. That also means no Duck Insider Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I was hoping that we'd be able to do a Duck Insider for you during the Pac-12 tournament, but to be honest, the logistics are just too difficult with having the show ready to go, but then what if the baseball game goes long in that 9 a.m. window, and then we don't have Duck Insider as a result of that? It gets a little funky, I'm going to be honest with you, and so we decided, hey, just tune into the baseball games and we'll have you covered. Scottsdale is basically going to be the home of all things Oregon athletics here for a while, too, because women's golf is there now for the NCAA championships. Men's golf is there this upcoming week for the NCAA championships, and baseball's Pac-12 tournament is going on all in Scottsdale. How about that? That's a cool thing, isn't it? So for Duck fans that are making the trip for one of those events, you actually could make the trip for all three of those events, which makes it kind of fun. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm already planning on going and seeing both teams in action in addition to Oregon baseball, both the golf teams. So Washington and Cal both finished at 14 and 16. Arizona State 13 and 17. Those are the last teams in the Pac-12 tournament. Wazoo, a game out. Their game outside the top 8. They went 12 and 18. Then Utah 10 and 20, and USC 8 and 22. There's your Pac-12 standings to end the regular season. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, I bring it up because Oregon State is number 2 in the latest RPI. Stanford is number 6 in the latest RPI, and Oregon is sitting at number 19 in the latest RPI. With a 35 and 21 overall record, the Ducks played the 4th toughest schedule in the nation. Wow. Pretty impressive. Now, Gonzaga, a team that Oregon beat twice this year, they're sitting at number 27 in the latest RPI. And there were a lot of folks, myself included. By the way, Arizona's 38, UC Santa Barbara's 39, a couple teams that Oregon's beaten a few times this year. There were a couple people, we were talking in the press box, that thought it would be between Oregon and Gonzaga for an NCAA host site in the regional. Well, the latest projected field of 64 on D1Baseball.com has Tennessee as the number 1 seed. Georgia Southern would be a host as the 16 seed. Virginia Tech would be a 2. Oklahoma State would actually be the 15. And then Stanford would be the 3. TCU would be the 14. Then it would be Oregon State as the 4. And you know who would be the 13? That'd be the Ducks. That would mean that if both of those Corvallis and Eugene regionals went to the host team, that in the super regionals you would have Oregon and Oregon State playing each other. That's the latest projection that D1Baseball.com has. Huh. Miami would be the 5, Notre Dame would be the 12, Maryland the 6, Virginia the 11, Louisville the 7, Auburn the 10, Texas A&M the 8, and Southern Miss the 9. I read those in the matchups order. That's how they would be matched up in the super regional round should everybody go as it should. So what does that mean for the Ducks? Well, you know, it was interesting. I was talking with Zach about this actually before we got on the air. There has never been a Pac-12 baseball tournament before. This is the first one. So although I've been following college baseball really closely now for a decade, and it's been my job for about a decade now, I don't really have a great grasp on how much the tournament games will matter for NCAA selection. Like, if you're Stanford and you go 0-2 in Scottsdale, are you still going to be the 3 seed nationally? And if you're Oregon State and you go 1-2 in Scottsdale, are you still going to be the 4 seed nationally? And if you're the Ducks and you go, I don't know, 2-2, whatever it is, you don't win the Pac-12 tournament, or you. The point is, does it improve? Maybe. If Oregon ends up winning the Pac-12 tournament, are they for sure a regional host? I think so. But if they go 0-2, are they still a regional host? I don't know. I really have no great sense for how much the Pac-12 tournament games will influence the NCAA selection when we're talking about that next week. So the next time that we'll have Duck Insider for you will actually be next Tuesday, the 31st. The reason for that is it's Memorial Day on Monday. Then we're getting ready for NCAA baseball. So it's a busy time of year. So what does that all mean? Well, it means that the Ducks are going to play Arizona at 9 a.m. We got an 8:45 pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network. Myself and Jordan Brenner are flying out there tomorrow. The Ducks are flying out today. And let's go win some baseball games, huh? So that entire bracket for the Pac-12 tournament, the way that the Pac-12 tournament is going to work, it's essentially 2 regionals. So it's 2 4-team double elimination brackets. On Wednesday, May 25th, Division I, as they're calling it, will be Arizona and Oregon kicking things off, throwing the first pitch at 9 a.m. Then number 8, Arizona State, and number 1, Stanford will play approximately 45 minutes following Game 1. I know 9 a.m. is early. I know 9 a.m. is tough. I would much rather play at 9 a.m. than play at like 1 p.m. if it's going to be 110 degrees in Scottsdale. It may not be quite that hot, but it's going to be hot. So the winners of those 2 games, Arizona, Oregon, Arizona State, Stanford, will play on Thursday at 4:45. It'll be toasty, but the sun will be going down. Might be all right. The losers of those 2 games are going to play at 9 a.m. on Thursday. Then in Division II, you have number 7 Washington against number 2 Oregon State. That's at 4:45 on Wednesday. And then Cal UCLA will be approximately 45 minutes following that game. Cal UCLA afterwards. I'll be honest, I wouldn't want to play Cal in this tournament. They've got enough arms, and they can really hit with Beavers and Martorella. Washington's been the hottest team in the Pac-12 maybe down the stretch. They got real hot down the stretch. I could see maybe Oregon State having some trouble with them. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. So Oregon's either going to play at 9 a.m. or at 4:45 on Thursday, depending on if the Ducks get that win over Arizona. So then from there on out, you end up with 2 games on Friday, both of which will be in the afternoon. It'll either be a 3 o'clock start or then 45 minutes following the conclusion of that one. On Friday, it will be the winners of Thursday's loser games, if that makes sense. So if you win on Wednesday, if you win on Thursday, you actually don't play again until Saturday. That's what you want to do. If you're the Ducks, you want to win the 9 a.m. game Wednesday. Then you want to win the winners game at 4:45 on Thursday. Then you're going to sit back and you're going to wait to see the results from the rest of the games on Thursday, the 2 games on Friday, and then the Ducks would get the winner, if you will, of the 1-1 game on Friday. The teams that are 1-1 in that double elimination tournament. And then if the Ducks were to win that game Saturday at 9 a.m., Oregon would then play in the championship. Should the Ducks lose that game, for example, on Saturday, they would then play at 4:45 in the what is called if necessary game. Ronald Askin, the Pac-12 Network TV, all the games will be on Pac-12 Network, and then the championship will be on ESPN2. The championship is Sunday at 7 p.m. We'll have all the broadcasts for you here on the Oregon Sports Network on the radio side. But, yeah, for TV, it's going to be Pac-12 Network for all those games until the championship on ESPN2. The point of the tournament, I think, is twofold. One, it gives a little bit of excitement just to have a postseason tournament. The other piece for me is that it's actually a little bit of a rehearsal for what you're going to see in the NCAA regionals. So I think it's important to note that there's no what we call bracket flipping. So like say you're the loser, for example, in the College World Series, you could actually be in that Division I as the Pac-12 is outlining it. And if you lose one of those games, maybe you would flip down into Division II. Like the losers bracket ends up, the teams that are in the losers bracket could be from the other bracket, if that makes sense. So that's the bracket flipping. The Pac-12 tournament isn't doing that. So basically, you just need to win your 4-team double elimination bracket, and then the 2 winners of those 2 brackets will play each other in the championship game. I kind of like that because it's exactly like a regional. It's exactly like a regional. And then the championship game is essentially a one-game super regional, and that determines the Pac-12 champion. I think right now the Pac-12 is a 5-team league, 5-bid league for postseason. I think that Oregon's got a really good chance to win this thing because the Ducks have a very deep pitching staff that seems to be peaking at the right time. A lot of fun things to talk about. We'll break the tournament down for you a little bit more tomorrow. Jordan Brenner will join us for that. When we come back after this timeout, want to let you listen in on Mark Wazakowski, Jay Stoffel, Tanner Smith. They had some great things to say following the sweep of Arizona, as now the Ducks get ready to take on the Wildcats again at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Duck Insider on Monday, today, and Duck Insider on Tuesday, tomorrow. And then it's Pac-12 tournament baseball, baby. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. So no show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because we'll be in Scottsdale for Pac-12 baseball. 9 a.m. is when the Ducks will play Arizona, 8:45 pregame show on Wednesday. If they win, they play at 4:45 on Thursday. They lose, they play at 9 a.m. on Thursday. Friday schedule, well, we'll find out. That's just kind of the way the tournament works, right? So we'll let you know. Oregon baseball, social media, we'll have updates for you as well across the Oregon Sports Network. Following the sweep of Arizona, career day for Jay Stoffel. Great 5-4 win for the Ducks on Saturday to sweep the Wildcats on Senior Day. Mark Wazakowski, pretty darn stoked postgame, huh?
It was nice to complete the sweep. Another good game out here. What do you think from your team?
Played very, very good. You know, another game where the kids really came together, played very, very well. Jay Stoffel setting the tone. I thought the 3-run second inning was really big with, Bent Thompson getting a clutch single for an RBI up the middle, and then Tanner Smith, getting 2 RBI. I think it was a double at that time. But, yeah, impressed with the ball club. They came ready to play.
What did you see from Jay Stoffel today with his career high and almost everything?
Yeah, almost everything. He was just really good. He's throwing 4 pitches for strikes and locating the ball. That's hard to hit, and he was doing that. So at this time of year when your pitching's getting better, and guys are getting stretched out and they're becoming better as the days go. Credit to Coach Angier. He's doing a nice job getting those guys developed.
I know you said you love Oregon kids yesterday. I mean, that's Stoffel's guy who was pitching the NWAC not that long ago. Just how kind of quickly have you seen that development come along?
Yeah, for him, and then pitching down at the junior college down there in Roseburg. I mean, that's it's a very good young program down there, and then throwing it to Bennett Thompson, a freshman from down Southern Oregon. So I mean, when the Battery's Oregon kids, I mean, that's pretty exciting. I think those guys are. I believe deeply that Oregon kids are tough, probably tougher than others at times for sure, and they just have a lot to play for, especially in front of a lot of family and friends every single day. And I want to build this program with local kids.
How special were the senior day festivities before the game? Could be the last appearance at PK Park for some of these guys.
Well, let's hope it's not the last appearance. The club's playing well enough for us to start getting back in the discussion about hosting regionals. And no, we had a bump in the road, as pretty much all the teams have had a bump in the road. So hopefully the committee looks at what we're doing here down the stretch is getting hot at the right time, and the environment at PK Park and the number of people and the facility we have is definitely worthy of hosting. The pregame festivities were awesome. To see Sam Nowitzki, Tanner Smith excel the way they excelled today, I thought was spectacular. Sam coming in there and getting a base hit there at the end of the game, that wasn't just water under the bridge. That run counted, and for us to be able to score in that inning was a really big one there in the bottom of the A. So Sam led that inning off with a knock.
How much of a priority was that this weekend for you guys to come out here and make a statement for the committee to see and maybe add to that resume?
I mean, it was for the coaches. I'm sure it was somewhere for the players. We didn't talk about it. We just talked about having fun and playing together and enjoying the time that we do. We get a chance to do that.
You guys are probably going to be playing Arizona again on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Just swept them. You feel good about playing them again this week?
Yeah, just, feel good about just being with our team. I don't really know. I mean, Arizona's always been a good program. I got a chance to coach there for 10 years. I know the program very, very well. I know Chip Hill very, very, very well. He's a legend in that, community, and they're a good program, and we're looking forward to playing them again.
Jacob Wallace with 2 hits today. It seems like the last couple of days he's laying off speed, hunting fastballs. Just what have you seen from him?
He let an AB at the end get away from him that he was upset with him about, but sometimes that's going to happen. He had a really clutch, base hit there, two out single for an RBI. I thought that was fantastic. He's swinging the bat very, very well. Just seeing another freshman grow and develop just like Bennett Thompson is really encouraging.
With Stoffel's outing and you guys' offense, do you think you guys played off the PK crowd today?
Well, yeah, when the crowd's into the game, I mean, you feel it, and the kids feel it, and so the more people, we can get at this field to where people understand that baseball's here and baseball's big, and we're really good. And I think this place can really explode, University of Oregon baseball. And, that's why I'm here as a coach. I told Rob Mullins when he hired me, if I couldn't get it done, then fire me. But we're going to go down trying as hard as we possibly can and invest everything we have in it. And those are the people that I have on my staff. They're blood and guts guys that want to work and want to see this thing at the top of college baseball, and we're working daily to do it.
I've heard you talk about strength and conditioning a lot when referencing the lineup, but the entire pitching staff, it seems like people are throwing harder, going deeper into ball games late in the season. That's probably a credit to the strength and conditioning as well.
Yeah, Daryl Hunter's our strength and conditioning coach. We're blessed. Mr. Mullins has given us an opportunity to have our own strength and conditioning coach that just works with baseball. He doesn't work with other sports. Travels with us. He lives with us. He's with us every day. And, Daryl, other than being just a physical specimen himself and having a story that's just second to none, he works his tail off, and these guys love him. He pushes them in the weight room. I think Jace Stoffel's a great example of the work that Daryl Hunter has put together. I don't think Jace really committed to the weight room before he met Daryl Hunter, and now he is, and you're starting to see his outings get deeper into outings. And I think that usually happens in the weight room. A lot of toughness happens in there. And the length of outings, development of velocity, amongst the other things, those are all connected to weight room. And now we see Jace buying into the weight room, and you're seeing that at the end of ball games and with the length of his starts.
I thought that was a great question. That was Jordan who asked that question, and it is true. Like, we think about it in terms of the long ball, but these are the longest starts that we've seen from both Aon and Stoffel here toward the end of the season. That says something, I think, about the longevity, and also for Stoffel, working his way back, right? That's a big deal. He got hurt over the winter holidays, had to work his way back, made his debut midway through the season. Now, pitching well for the Ducks. That's what you love to see. And talking about Jay Stoffel, he met with the media post-game after a career day for the guy from Roseburg.
JC said basically career highs and almost everything today. Just what was working out there for you in those 7 innings?
good pitch calling, great defense. They gave me a lead early, so it makes it a lot easier to pitch when you have a lead early. So I just go out there, throw as many strikes as I can, and the defense behind me was amazing.
Seemed like you were landing 4 pitches at different points of this start. Is that true, or is it 3-pitch mix, 4-pitch mix? What was going today?
Yeah, I was throwing 4. Just everything felt good. Arm felt good today. But like I said, it makes it easy when I have that defense and the runs behind me. So it makes it freeze you up a little bit.
You struck out Chase Davis 3 times. Was something with him that you kind of figured out?
He was chasing changeups early. And then so we went in on him a little bit and then finished him with some changeups, and he was chasing. So we had a good plan for him. Credit Coach Angier for that.
Sorry, go ahead.
You and Bennett both obviously Southern Oregon kids. I don't know if you guys played on travel teams growing up, played against each other, but just how much fun is that connection between the two of you?
Yeah, we never played together. We always played against each other. So that's really special, being about an hour away from each other. I played him all through high school. So it's a pretty good connection. There's a lot of fun throwing to him. He's a very good catcher, good behind the plate. So it was very fun.
What does he do well in particular that works for you guys?
He's just, even as a freshman, he's very vocal back there. Receives very well. As a pitcher, you love vocal catchers, that are going to give you good feedback. And as a freshman, he's really mature like that, and he's really good at what he does.
What's been your own personal experience with the strength and conditioning here, and has that aided in going deeper into starts here as the season has gone on?
Yeah, like Coach Wallace said, Daryl is very good at what he does. He works just as hard as us or harder, and he really sets a good role model for us, and he pushes us every single day, and so yeah, it's a big deal.
When you and Bennett played against each other, who got the better of your matchups?
He did. Yeah, he shows me some highlight tapes of him hitting some doubles off me every once in a while. So yeah, he definitely got me in high school.
So yeah, I heard Jace say that post game, and I go, well, so I wonder when Bennett walks out to the mound and he has a conversation with Jace. He's like, hey, you remember when I got that double off you in that one game in high school? Remember that? And then he just turns around and walks back to behind the plate, and he's just like, that's how you tick off your pitcher, right? I thought that was pretty funny from Jay Stoffel. Tanner Smith, a guy who continues to rewrite the record book, he was good in this Arizona series, and I think it's easy for someone like me to sit here and say, well, as Tanner Smith goes, the Ducks go. Well, sometimes the numbers back that up. Tanner Smith met with the media postgame, one of the veteran leaders for this team, following that sweep of Arizona, getting ready for the Pac-12 tournament.
Tanner, I don't know if you remember, but this time last year, you entered this part of the season as like a 270 hitter, and then you ended the season at around 320 or so. Is it something about the warm weather? Is it just that you're starting to feel warmed up to the season? What is it about the month of May?
I mean, I really just think it's just the mentality of finishing strong. That's been implemented us, since the fall, and just finishing strong. And, I think as the season progresses, the games become a little bit more important maybe, and you start to realize stuff, and, that's when I try to play my best.
How special was it to get that hit and get the win on, especially when you have the senior day festivities before the game?
Yeah. No, it was awesome. It's great, and, I just, feel so happy knowing this program's in great hands with this coaching staff, and, to see a freshman come out and pitch like that, starting outing like that it just shows how bright the future is for this program, and, it's a great way to play your last game at PK Park.
With Chase, I think he only had 3 strikeouts, but he retired 16 straight batters there for a little bit. For a guy to pitch to contact against this lineup and do that well, is it just really impressive for you guys to see?
Unbelievably impressive. They got great hitters through and through, and if you're not striking them out, usually they're putting balls in play and getting hits, and they weren't able to do that today, and he did a great job just shutting it down and letting the offense work.
You were nominated for the Senior Class Award. So is Sam Nowitzki, who comes off the bench today and gets a hit on Senior Day as well. What do you think that moment meant to him and as a fellow senior for you?
It's just awesome. It's it's a great honor, and it's just great to have a couple Ducks nominated for that award, and hopefully we can come out on top with that.
You guys sweep Arizona. Now you're probably going to play them again on Wednesday. You like how match up against them?
Yeah, no, I like it, and obviously we've been on the other end of that equation this season of playing a team a consecutive amount of times, and we do know it's tough, and but we are looking forward to it.
Was it a priority for you guys to come out here and show the selection committee that you deserve to be in that conversation to host a regional? Is that something you guys thought about?
A little bit. I think, what's big is just, it's really just winning on Sundays. And we kept it as simple as that. And, and finishing this series strong and not, settling with 2 or 3, but really trying to, if this is our last game at PK, that, we finish it right.
How much does it help you personally that you're probably going to play Arizona for a 4th straight time?
I think it's pretty helpful. I think this weekend they used a lot more pitchers than they were planning to use. Maybe not so much yesterday, but throughout the whole weekend. So I think it's great for not only me individually, but just our offense in general to see kind of what we're working with, what the plan of attack is going to be for each guy, and I think it is really beneficial going forward.
And on the flip side, Aon throws a complete game yesterday. Chase goes 7 today. It's helpful on that front, right?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. When you only have to use Britton for one guy, and Colby, got a couple innings this weekend and stuff. But it's awesome. We have a lot of weapons in that bullpen that didn't really get utilized too much this weekend, and I think that's going to be big going forward for the busy 5 days coming up.
You guys secured the number 4 seed, which means Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
How different does your schedule look for a 9 a.m. baseball game?
I guess that'll be the first time in a while since I was a little kid in the travel ball days. But, I think honestly a lot of us are pretty happy about it, hoping that that's probably going to be the coolest time of the day out there, and and getting a win early to start the day.
The coolest time of day. I like that. Tanner Smith already thinking about it. The schedule will be a little bit different. I've got it on my calendar to talk with Mark Wazakowski before breakfast. Breakfast is early. But you know what? This team's up early anyway. Like, truthfully, I think that most people would say they'd prefer to play a game maybe a little later, but this team actually is up for early breakfast and class anyway. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not as big of a deal as we might think it is. Maybe so. Oregon baseball, 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. We'll have a call for you with an 8:45 pregame show. Ducks and Wildcats in the Pac-12 tournament. Oregon hoping to stay in Scottsdale for a while. When we come back, Oregon softball, their regional out in Arkansas. We'll recap it and then look back on the season. Women's golf doing well in Scottsdale, too. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Insider represented by Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon baseball getting ready for postseason. Oregon softball just wrapping up their postseason run. They were the number 2 seed in the Fayetteville Regional, made it to the regional final for the second straight year under Melissa Lombardi. They got to the winner's bracket with that win over Wichita State. Played a close one against Arkansas in Game 2. Beat Wichita State again. And then in the regional final, fell to Arkansas after it was knotted up at 3. Felt like just someone was going to get that big hit and bust through, and unfortunately, Arkansas did it in that 9-3 loss as the 4th-seeded Arkansas Razorbacks won the Fayetteville Regional they were hosting. Ducks end their season at 33-18 after making their second straight NCAA Regional for Coach Lombardi. We're going to talk with her on the show coming up a little bit more tomorrow, but she did meet with the media afterwards, and, well, you'll hear the frustration. Wanted to keep playing anytime the season comes to an end. A little bittersweet from Melissa Lombardi.
I just would say how proud I am of our team. I think this team persevered all year long. I watched this team transform all year long. I watched this team go above and beyond. Everything we asked them to do, they did, and bigger. I loved watching them compete. I love watching them score runs with 2 outs. I love watching them from behind come back and win. I just think of so many moments this year where they clutched up and just were unbelievable. So I just can't say how proud I am of them. And I know this hurts right now, but I just think for our athletes that are coming back, what it's going to do for them, the experience that they gained. I know with our athletes that are seniors that are graduating, it hurts right now, but I do know that they're ready for the next step. And just to watch them transform from young girls into young women, I know their next step in life is going to be really good. And I know that they're going to be able to handle anything that comes their way and have tons of success. The last thing I would say is thank you, University of Arkansas, for hosting us. We appreciate the hospitality and just giving us an opportunity to be a part of a championship event.
Yeah, Coach, obviously you never want the season to end like this. When you are in the post game, what's your sort of message to the seniors and to the women on the field?
I just think what I just said, I'm just really proud of them and things that they've done on and off the field. I just think you learn life through sport, and we're definitely learning life through sport. So I think anytime things don't quite go your way, I just feel like something good is coming, and you can't, experience is everything. So every opportunity that we get to have experience and to be in these moments, I agree with our athletes. I think what version 4 did this year and looking into now what version 5 is going to look like, I'm excited. I'm excited for the athletes that are returning, and I'm excited for athletes that are moving on in that next chapter.
Without Brooke, as sort of losing her unexpectedly at the beginning of the season, where you went this season, you get to the regional final. Now, sort of retrospective on the year, how was it? Is it a success?
Oh, absolutely. I think every year is a success, but I think about losing Brooke and having our pitching staff having to step up into different roles and to get different amounts of innings. I think of Stevie Hansen coming in as a freshman and the role that she took on and being so young. Her future is so bright. The experience that she gained this year was so valuable. Think of McKenna, really getting to see how good McKenna can be. And it took her throughout the year, but goodness, it's going to be exciting to watch her throw next year. So and with our others coming back, they've got experience that maybe they wouldn't have got if, Brooke wasn't injured. So I just think future-wise, moving forward, I'm excited for this pitching staff and what they're going to be able to do.
Taking this experience, what can you learn from this regional specifically?
Yeah, I just think anytime, the biggest thing is just in postseason, you get to play the best. And you want to play the best. You get to play the best, and you need to beat the best. That's where you really get to see where you're at. So for us to go play a team like Arkansas and have to deal with those, big, strong, powerful hitters, hitter after hitter, we needed that as a pitching staff. I mean, we've grown so much dealing with that. So again, I just can't say what this experience does for you.
Outside of the 2 big 6 innings in both of the games, you guys outscored Arkansas. Does that bring you a little bit of solace and a little bit of projection towards next year being able to outscore for majority of the innings, top 5 team in the country?
Yeah, I think we definitely had some bright spots, and we were right in there with it. I think the biggest thing for us is just to finish, to get to that 6th inning and to stop the bleeding. Both times we weren't able to stop the bleeding, but to be able to get there and understand how to do that, I think that's the biggest thing we'll walk away from.
Coach, can you talk about the job that Christopher's talked about? Spoke real highly of you. Can you kind of talk about the job you feel like she's doing with this program here?
Yeah, I've said it before. I've known Courtney for a long time. I watched her come into this program, and I knew where this program was at before she got here. And just watching this program transform year after year, you could see it. It's exciting. I'm excited for her. I wish them nothing but the best. They're an excellent team. Got great pitching, explosive hitters, and they're solid on defense. And that's a tribute to Courtney and to Matt and to Yo and to all their other coaches and their staff members.
What about the atmosphere they've developed here at Arkansas? I mean, were you pretty impressed with everything with the fans? Just everything, the atmosphere, because just it was pretty cold, raining, and fans were still out here.
Yeah, they've got a great following, beautiful stadium, great atmosphere. I mean, I would rather play in a venue like this where the crowd is roaring and they're roaring against us than to play in an empty venue. I mean, this is like what we got to see here is what we're seeing all across the nation, and the support, and just softball is on fire, and that should be. So it was awesome to come in here and see their fans.
Coach, it seemed like you made a really big emphasis on getting some of the younger players at bats, whether that was Gabby, Taya, Allison. Can you talk about how important it was for them to get that experience in a regional atmosphere like this?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been getting at bats all year. So, I mean, it's to continue to do that. We had opportunities, but we felt like it was their number that we wanted to call. And so trusting that they could come in and get the job done. So I don't think it's necessarily just giving them a bat for an experience. We're giving them a bat because we believe that they could come in and change the game.
Melissa Lombardi post-game after the tough loss to Arkansas, and we've got more with her coming up tomorrow. I want to get a timeout. We'll come back, give you some updates on Oregon women's golf, and then hear from a couple of the student athletes after a bittersweet ending to the season for Oregon softball. More coming up. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Summer starts here at your local Toyota dealer. Come in for huge savings on great Toyotas, like the adventurous RAV4, the sleek Venza, and the Ruby Highlander. For more information, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives by not having play dates. That's right. By replacing get-togethers with virtual play dates and video chats, they can help slow the evil spread of germs. And if your superheroes do go outside, make sure they continue their superhero wing by staying 6 feet away from others to protect everyone in America land. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Every time we talk with a head coach this year, it's been brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Some of your 2022 team leaders for Oregon softball. Tara McGowan ended up leading the squad in batting average at .375. Hannah Delgado ended up leading the team in stolen bases with 16 and runs with 41. Allie Bunker, 65 hits. KK Humphreys, 12 doubles. Paige Stanicki, 3 triples. And then Ariel Carlson. How about the regional that Ariel Carlson had? Just mashing a few softballs. 15 home runs for her, and she ended up with 42 runs batted in and a .638 slugging percentage, leading Oregon in all 3 of those categories. And then just talking about how much the pitching staff was forced to adapt without Brooke Yanez. Stevie Hansen ends up with a 3.27 ERA, 13 wins, 126 strikeouts for Stevie Hansen. Allie Bunker and Tara McGowan, they sat down with the media a little bit after the game, and as you can imagine, frustrated that it didn't go their way, but I think they'll be back with a vengeance next year. Here's Allie Bunker and Tara McGowan after the loss to Arkansas.
Never want the season to sort of end this way. Sort of what was the vibe in the post game where you guys were in the huddle for a long time? What was said?
Mm-hmm. I think it's all about our team at that point and all about the seniors and all about remembering the work we've put in this year. And it's just, stepping back and saying this is just softball at the end of the day. Like, we love playing this game, but it's about the memories we create with each other. So reminding each other, like, we'll always be lifelong friends and just remembering why we're all here together.
Yeah, I think because we had some OGs from version 1, it was definitely celebrating their journey and our journey with coach, and thanking the staff. We had a new staff this year, and just the way we all melded together was awesome. Just kind of reminiscing on the good times we had this year, not really focusing on the negatives.
What has this version 4 group meant to you two?
It's been incredible. I mean, I think we have had a crazy journey as a team from our freshman year. Tara didn't play. We had a crazy freshman year, and then COVID hit. So we haven't really had a good solid year where we've been able to really go and do something as a team. And this was the first year that we had a solid foundation that we can go to. And it was really cool to be able to just hit the ground running this season and be able to see what this team can do.
Yeah, I think it's cool that we kind of call ourselves versions, because that means it's always changing. You're adding something. And I honestly think version 4 is the key to the future of this program. I think version 4, we figured out a lot, and there's not going to be many more moving pieces after this. I think we have a solid culture, and it's really fun to celebrate that.
I think that's awesome, hearing that from Tara McGowan, Allie Bunker there. Awesome stuff. Look, never want the season to end. Unless you win the last game of the year, somebody's always upset. That's kind of just how it goes. So I'm looking forward to seeing the way that this team develops, truthfully. I think that this is a fun team moving forward. I absolutely loved what Tara McGowan said about how versions improve on themselves, right? Like, and sometimes maybe talking about computer software, for example, right? Like, maybe a version has a bug in it, and then the next version you fix it, but it might have been the bug was introduced in version 2 instead of in version 1 right away. I thought that was great. The way that she summarized that for everybody, I thought was just outstanding. I want to get a timeout. When we come back, a little bit on women's golf, and then I want to sneak in Andrew Weeding today. We've been telling you about the Hall of Fame induction ceremony interviews that we did up on stage. Let's hear from Andrew Weeding next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It looks like Oregon women's golf going to be advancing to match play tomorrow. You can watch it on Golf Channel this afternoon if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Ducks are well above the cut line, feeling really good. And earlier this week, we got the chance to catch up with Andrew Weeding. From our Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the 2020 class, I got the opportunity to catch up with one of the greats in Andrew Weeding.
Andrew, you drew was it the long straw or the short straw to speak on behalf of a team that was inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I got told. I was like, okay, great. And everybody else looked at me with envy. And I was like, well, all right, I'll go speak for all of you. And I sat up here and talked about how much all these guys are a bunch of ding-dongs. And so it seemed to work out well.
So I guess we're doing that again. So let's start with how many ding-dongs are here here tonight?
I lost count. I don't know. There's quite a few. And it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, Ashton raises his hand. Yeah, number one ding-dong right there. No, this is a lot of fun. I think Ashton and I shared a moment where we were like, hey, could we just scrap this whole thing and then just hang out and talk about Oregon and our friendship and fun and all these things? And I was like, yeah, I would love to do that. So instead, I'm just going to do it now anyway. I'm just going to talk about, first of all, thanks for putting me third behind 2 gold medalists. That was really a smart move. Thanks, guys. But I can't talk enough about the folks, A, getting inducted, and B, who are all here. I mean, Keisha is a leader for the women's team and the Oregon in general, and just witty, and it's just fun to hang out with, and across the board. And Ashton, I mean, the guy is talented beyond belief, right? But we can talk about on-the-track stuff all day, but I'm going to bring up a story because I've told this story numerous times. If you're familiar with putters, way out wherever it is, there's the mini golf and laser tag out there. Ashton has this unnatural laser tag ability that I've never witnessed in my life. But we would go play, and I remember looking down this line, and columns, and Ashton somersaults out of the air and lands, and we're all just stunned, and then proceeds to just lay into a 10-year-old. I'm like, all that ninja move, and I mean, obviously the 2010 women's team, I mean, those are all my friends. Those are all incredible women who paved the way for what you now see today. It started there, and I mean, it's incredible what they've done, but I call them friends first and legends second, with all due respect.
You mentioned some of the memories. Do you have others? Because I feel like you're a guy that does have some others to share.
Yeah, I guess there's all sorts of stuff, and usually it's triggered by conversation when you see and hang out with people. And that Ashton story, I was thankful, I guess, in some ways to be third, because I was like, I'm saying that story. But no, I think just sharing everything we got to do on the track with everyone in this room and all the fans that we get to see at Hayward was a memory in itself that I'll never forget. But it's been such a joy to share all that. And I think to talk a bit to team, we were talking about what it means to be on a team and the importance of team. And I don't think any of us were really so solely focused on winning for our own self-interest. I think it was always about, could we get 10 plus points? How many points can we get? Can we win as a team? And I think if I took anything with me, it's the importance of team and doing what you can for others and for who you represent. And I think that I learned that here, and obviously growing up with family and friends, but the 4 years here just instilled that within me.
Being such a team-oriented person, like I know you are, and you just elaborate. I mean, how cool was that moment in the 1500 where you guys go 1, 2, 3? I mean, that's something that's talked about a lot around these parts, around track and field circles. Just how special was that moment?
Oh, it was awesome. I remember I poked Centro in his interview, like in his ear. Oh, sorry, I poked him in his ear when he was doing his interview, and I'm like, that's why I love to do what we did. Is, I mean, last time I was up here, I was talking for the team. I would have loved to sat here with the whole team, but the memory from that evening was far more greater than the award we received, and in this instance as well. The reward is great, but seeing all of our friends is by far more meaningful. And that moment in particular, I'll remember it. It was great. I'm fortunate to have won, but I could have been third and been just as happy.
Talking about a team, but you had a lot of people that helped you get here. Who would you like to thank tonight?
First and foremost, everyone in this room, and fans and those within Hayward Field got me without question to this point. Like, Vin made it very clear I didn't really have a first and foremost school, but I think taking that risk and hearing from him and many others, but every one of my teammates, I think there's my family and friends. There's just it's a long list, and it's just kind of best to keep it broad. But yeah, I think I wish my fiance couldn't be here. We're due to be married in September, and I know that she wasn't a part of my life when all this happened, and all these moments that kind of pop up like this. She would kill to be here. So her father came instead, who I think is kind of scouting to make sure I'm still the right fit. So, But I think if she would have been a part of it for sure.
I want to ask you the same question, actually, that I asked Keisha with all this in mind. I mean, if you had told yourself when you were 16 years old that you'd be sitting here tonight, what would 16-year-old you have said?
You picked the wrong sport, dummy. No, I love soccer. That was my thing. And so 16-year-old me would be like, really? Track? All right. I got to try a little harder. So... But I'd like to think that after a handful of goldfish and Skittles and Reese's Cups, and we would have had a nice long conversation that Oregon was by far the best decision of my life.
That was great from Andrew Weeding. I just told him congratulations after that, and just, man, what a special deal. Andrew Weeding, the 2020 Hall of Fame induction class, part of the interviews that we did. We'll still hear from Matthew Centrowitz actually coming up a little bit later, and you saw he was poking fun at him. I mean, it was great seeing all of those greats up on stage again. We'll still have those interviews for you later on Duck Insider. So Oregon golf, looks like the women are going to be advancing to match play tomorrow. They're like 20 shots above the cut line right now. Things that you love to see. Tomorrow, H.J. Cohn's going to be with us, as well as Melissa Lombardi. See you then.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan